Day 3 of our chronological Bible reading. Full disclosure, I am coming back to day 3. I had done this reading, but I had to do it as a live. And because of it was a live, it decided that it was going to delete it because I did it on Facebook. So now I am moving everything from Facebook over to YouTube, and I needed to go ahead and make sure that I did this reading so that way the entire Bible is done. And if you want to go back or I want to go back, I can go back and listen to it. And I did not miss anything in it. So having said all that, first thing that we're going to do is go into prayer. And then the second thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and read. Today's reading is going to be the January 3rd excerpt from the 1-year chronological Bible reading. So let's dig into prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, I pray that right now you just open our eyes to the truth of what we're about to read. God, I love seeing Genesis. I love seeing you throughout the Old Testament as well as in the New Testament. And I pray, God, that you open our eyes to see how the connection is, how you are sovereign, never changing, that Jesus is you, and the Old Testament and the New Testament are one. I praise you, Father God, for all that you do, and may we have insight into your word as we read. And I pray all this in your Son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen. Okay, so January 3rd's reading, we're going to begin in Genesis chapter 7. We're going to read all of Genesis 7. The Lord then said to Noah, "Go into the ark, you and your whole family, because I have found you righteous in this generation. Take with you 7 pairs of every kind of clean animal, a male and its mate, and 1 pair of every kind of unclean animal, a male and its mate, and also 7 pairs of every kind of bird, male and female, to keep their various kinds alive throughout the earth. 7 days from now, I will send rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights, and I will wipe from the face of the earth every living creature I have made." And Noah did all that the Lord commanded him. So Noah has built the ark to God's specifications. And I wonder if he ever heard from God after. So, he's there. God says, "You are righteous. I want you to build this ark to these specifications," and gave him great detail. And now 100 years has passed. And all of a sudden, God comes to Noah and he goes, "Now I want you to go into the ark and be prepared, because what's going to happen now is I'm going to send the animals. You're going to bring in these animals, not just 2 pairs of every animals, which we all have kind of been told throughout elementary school, but no, it's 7 pairs, male and female, of clean animals, and 2 pairs of unclean animals." Okay, so the 7 pairs of the clean animals is because those will be used later on, not only to eat, but also for the sacrifice. The unclean, well, they just get to live nice and happy. So they don't need as many. So now we see God has come and he's speaking to Noah, and he says, I love this, "Go into the ark, you and your whole family, because I have found you righteous in this generation." So it's not that the rest of Noah's family was righteous. It was that Noah was righteous in God's eyes. God found Noah righteous. And in order for the world to populate and to continue, his family was saved because of Noah's righteousness. Now that we have Jesus Christ, we cannot save our family members. There's nothing that we can do that would make them get them their salvation. It's their choice whether they want Jesus or they don't. But here we see that Noah's family is saved because of Noah. So Noah does all that the Lord commanded him. Noah was 600 years old when the flood waters came on the earth, and Noah and his sons and his wives and his sons' wives entered to the ark to escape the waters of the flood. Pairs of clean and unclean animals, of birds, and all the creatures that move along the ground, male and female, came to Noah and entered the ark, as God had commanded Noah. And after the 7 days, the flood waters came on the earth. So it kind of sounds like God said, all right, now the animals are going to start coming. And it kind of sounds like it took 7 days for all the animals to get on the ark and Noah and his family to get on the ark and to become situated. Now listen very closely. In the 600th year of Noah's life, on the 17th day of the 2nd month, on that day, all the springs of the great deep burst forth, and the floodgates of heavens were opened, and rain fell on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. So God has now, everybody's in the ark, God's closed the door, and the floodgates come open. On that very day, Noah and his sons Shem, Ham, and Japheth, together with his wife and the wives of his 3 sons, entered the ark. There they had with them every wild animal according to its kind, all livestock according to their kinds, every creature that moves along the ground according to its kind, and every bird according to its kind, everything with wings. Pairs of all creatures that have the breath of life in them came to Noah and entered the ark. The animals going in were male and female of every living thing, as God had commanded Noah. Then the Lord shut him in. So you see, it says the animals were going in, male and female, every living thing, just like God had commanded Noah. And then the Lord shut him in. Okay? And it said they came to Noah and they entered the ark. Noah did not go out and find all of them. They came to Noah, everybody gets in, and God shuts them all in. For 40 days, the flood kept coming on the earth, and as the waters increased, they lifted the ark high above the earth. The waters rose and increased greatly on the earth, and the ark floated on the surface of the water. They rose greatly on the earth, and all the high mountains under the entire heavens were covered. The waters rose and covered the mountains in a depth of more than 15 cubits, which says about 23 feet. Every living thing that moved on the land perished: birds, livestock, wild animals, all the creatures that swarm over the earth, and all mankind. Everything on dry land that had the breath of life in its nostrils died. Every living thing on the face of the earth was wiped out. People and the animals and the creatures that move along the ground and the birds were wiped from the earth. Only Noah was left, and those with him in the ark. The waters flooded the earth for 150 days. So now we see that they're all in there. The waters are rising. It has been 40 days and 40 nights of just the constant rain. So then we see that the waters flooded the earth for 150 days. So we have it. So we see that for 40 days it has been raining, and now everything outside is dying. They're drowning. And I wonder if people were trying to climb on the ark or banging on the ark. I wonder if they heard the screams. Did they hear the screams of the people? Did they hear animals yelling? What kind of chaos was going on outside? Were they able to see all the chaos? 40 days of this. The floods are coming down. And then it says the waters are flooded the earth, and now it just stays for 150 days. Now, when we go into Genesis chapter 8, we see, but God remembered Noah and all the wild animals and all the livestock that were with him in the ark, and he sent a wind over the earth, and the waters receded. Now the springs of the deep and the floodgates of the heavens had been closed, and the rain had stopped falling from the sky. The water receded steadily from the earth. At the end of the 150 days, the water had gone down. And on the 17th day of the 7th month, the ark came to rest on the mountain of Ararat. The waters continued to recede until the 10th month, and on the first day of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains became visible. After 40 days, Noah opened a window he had made in the ark and sent out a raven, and it came flying back and forth until the water had dried up from the earth. Then he sent out a dove to see if the water had receded from the surface of the ground. But the dove could not find nowhere to perch because there was water all over the surface of the earth. So it returned to Noah in the ark. He reached out his hand and took the dove and brought it back to himself in the ark. He waited 7 more days and again sent out the dove from the ark. When the dove returned to him in the evening, there in its beak was a freshly plucked olive leaf. Then Noah knew that the water had receded from the earth. He waited 7 more days and sent the dove out again, but this time it did not return to him. By the first day of the first month of Noah's 601st year, the water had dried up from the earth. Noah then removed the covering from the ark and saw that the surface of the ground was dry. By the 27th day of the 2nd month, the earth was completely dry. Then God said to Noah, "Come out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons and their wives. Bring out every kind of living creature that is with you, the birds, the animals, and all the creatures that move along the ground, so that they can multiply on the earth and be fruitful and increase in numbers on it." So Noah came out together with his sons and his wives and his sons' wives, all the animals and all the creatures that move along the ground and all the birds, everything that moves on land, came out of the ark, one kind after another. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and taking some of all the clean animals and clean birds, he sacrificed burnt offerings on it. The Lord smelled the pleasing aroma and said in his heart, "Never again will I curse the ground because of humans," even though, even because of the humans, every inclination of the human's hearts is evil from childhood. "And never again will I destroy all living creatures as I have done. As long as the earth endures, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will never cease." So in chapter 8, what we see happening is they're on the boat and the water is now beginning to recede. And it says that in the first verse of chapter 8 says, "But God remembered Noah." That doesn't mean that he's like, "Oh yeah, no, I forgot about that guy." It means that, remembered, it's his time. Remember, God's timing is perfect. God knows it's time for me to fulfill what I have told Noah. So I'm going to go to Noah and I'm going to fulfill the promise that I've made to him, that he's going to be safe. So God remembers Noah, and he goes to Noah, and Noah knows that, okay, it stopped raining. It's been 150 days. I'm going to open up my window. He sends out the raven. The raven comes back and forth, and then he doesn't come back. So then Noah says, "I'm going to wait a little bit," and then he sends out a dove. The dove comes back, forth, and then he comes back again with an olive branch. Now Noah knows that it is safe. He waits a little bit longer. The doors are open, and he's able to go out, and he hears the Lord say, "Everybody get out." He goes out, and the first thing that Noah does is he builds an altar, and he sacrifices to the Lord. I think it's very important to remember that during this time, there are no Jews, there's no Israelites, there's no Hebrews. This is still the very beginning of the foundation of the world, and the people are learning who God is. And God is establishing very specific people to carry out his will and for the whole entire world. And Noah is one that has been chosen. Okay? So keep in mind, like everybody that was destroyed, they weren't Jewish, they weren't Israelites, they were people. And God goes ahead and he says, "I'm not going to do this anymore. Never again will I curse the ground because of humans, even though every inclination of the human heart is evil from childhood. So God says, I know I wiped out man and women, and I destroyed the earth, and I left you, Noah. But I also know that humans are just not, they're born evil. Their heart is wicked from childbirth. So I will not destroy them ever again. That I promise you. Because he knew who we are. Now, yes, God created us in his image, but his image is Father, Son, Holy Spirit. We have mind, body, soul, or soul, spirit, mind. So there's that similarity. There's also that we are creators. That's another image of God. We create things. Another image is that we are always seeking the spiritual realm. We want that connection. We are not to be isolated. We are not to be alone. We are to be in fellowship. That is one of God's characteristics. That's part of him. That's part of his image. So it's important that you can see God's image throughout. So when you're reading the Bible, don't look at, oh, what is it going to do for me? What does God say he's going to do for me? Look at it when you're reading, especially in the Old Testament, who God is and what his character is. And right here, it's saying that he will protect his promise. And even though that we're wicked, from the beginning, he will not destroy it again. Genesis chapter, with the flood, he will not destroy it with the flood again. Genesis chapter 9, verses 1 through 17, so all of chapter 9. Then God blessed Noah and his sons, saying to them, be fruitful and increase in number and fill the earth. The fear and the dread of you will fall on the beasts of the earth and on all the birds of the sky, on every creature that moves along the ground, and on all the fish in the sea. They are to be given into your hands. Everything that lives and moves about will be food for you. Just as I gave you the green plants, I now give you everything. So this is the first time. So the animals have been used for sacrifice, right? God is establishing rules and behaviors and rituals with Noah. Okay, he has not set up any kinds of laws or rules with anyone really yet, because again, this is all starting over with Noah. But before the flood, there were tons of different gods out there, and Noah knew God, but everybody else did not know God. But when we look, God is now saying, Noah, you're blessed. I want you to go out. I want you to be fruitful, and I want you to multiply, increase, and fill the earth. And then it says, now remember in Genesis chapter 1, verse 29, the very beginning of all the earth, God told Adam that he was to rule over all the animals. He would have dominion over everything, which is another image of God. We rule over things. We name things, okay? So God has told Adam this, and now Noah is going to be reflecting the same thing that Adam had done. So God also in Genesis 1:29 says, I want you to eat only of all the vegetation, all the greenery is for you and the animals. So there's no eating of meat. The animals are not eating each other. Even though sin is in the world now, God has not allowed meat to be eaten until just now. Genesis chapter 9, verse 3. Everything that lives and moves about will be food for you. Just as I gave you the green plants, I now give you everything. So he's saying everything. He still hasn't put limits on what is he hasn't necessarily told Noah yet what is that he cannot eat unclean animals, because it says anything that lives and moves will be food for you. So God does make changes in a little bit later, but as for right now, God has released Noah and his family to eat whatever is living on top of all of the plants. Continuing on, Genesis 9, chapter 4, or verse 4. But you must not eat meat that has its lifeblood still in it. And for your lifeblood, I will surely demand an accounting. I will demand an accounting from every animal, and from each human being too. I will demand an accounting for the life of another human being. Whoever sheds human blood, by humans shall their blood be shed. For in the image of God has God made mankind. As for you, be fruitful and increase in number. Multiply on the earth and increase upon it. I want you guys to get that. So now they're allowed to eat meat. But you must not eat meat that has lifeblood still in it. So it's very important. God is saying there's no blood to be drank, because you are to drain the animal and then you can eat it. No blood should ever cross into your mouth. Then he says, and also if there's a murder, if blood has been shed, if you kill another human being, then you are going to be held accountable for it. We will not allow that. He said, God says, I demand an accounting from every animal and each human being too. So if you shed the blood of another person, you will be held accountable for the life of another human being. Whoever sheds human blood, by humans shall their blood be shed. So if you shed the blood of another human being, your blood is going to be shed too. And this is so important right here. Chapter 9, verse 6. For in the image of God has God made mankind. When you kill someone, I'm sorry, I take that back. When you murder someone, you are murdering someone in the image of God. When you kill somebody, it's usually, that's an accidental killing. It's not thought of, it's protecting yourself or what have you. But when you murder someone, you are ending the life of an image of God. Anytime you end a life, and that includes the womb, you are destroying and ending the image of God. It's very important that we understand that we're not just killing a human. That is the image of God. So continuing on. As for you, be fruitful and increase in number. Multiply on the earth and increase upon it. Then God said to Noah and to his sons with him, I now establish my covenant with you and with your descendants after you, and with every living creature that was with you, the birds, the livestock, and all the wild animals, all those that came out of the ark with you. Every living creature on earth, I establish my covenant with you. Never again will all life be destroyed by the waters of a flood. Never again will there be a flood to destroy the earth. And God said, this is a sign of my covenant I am making between you and me and every living creature with you, a covenant for all generations to come. I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and the earth. Whenever I bring clouds over the earth and the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will remember my covenant between me and you and all living creatures of every kind. Never again will all the waters become a flood to destroy all life. Whenever the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and all living creatures of every kind on earth. So God said to Noah, this is the sign of the covenant I have established between me and all the life on the earth. The rainbow, if you know how rainbows are made, it's all about the reflections of light. And God is light. He is truth. I know that gays, the LGBTQ, they all use what they claim to be a rainbow, but that's not the rainbow. There's more colors in it. They're darker colors. It's not the rainbow. Don't get sucked into that. Oh, the rainbow, they're using the rainbow. No, they have a collection of colors that they threw together. If they want to call it a rainbow, whatever. But a rainbow is the covenant that God made to Noah and everybody who was on that boat, including the animals and including us, because he says for generations, for all. He will never destroy the earth with a flood again. Don't get upset. It's not a rainbow unless it's God's rainbow. A rainbow is the covenant between God and us. Okay? So now, going on to Genesis chapter 9, verses 18, and then we'll read chapter 10. So, Genesis chapter 9, verse, and then finishing into 10. The sons of Noah who came out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham was the father of Canaan. These were the three sons of Noah, and from them the people came who were scattered all over the earth. Noah, a man of the soil, proceeded to plant a vineyard. So he's the first to put into the soil a vineyard. When he drank some of its wine, he became drunk and lay uncovered inside his tent. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw his father naked and told his two brothers outside. But Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it across their shoulders, and they walked it backwards and covered their father's naked body. Their faces were turned away the other way so that they would not see their father naked. When Noah awoke from his wine and found out what his youngest son had done to him, he said, "Cursed be Canaan, the lowest of slaves will he be to his brothers." So Ham is the father of Canaan. Ham is one of the sons of Noah, and he goes into the tent, sees his dad sprawled out butt naked because he's drunk. And then he goes out and he tells his brother, yo, listen, dad's in there butt naked. Holy cow, come check it out. His brothers, instead of going and looking at his father in humiliation, they take a cloth and they go walk backwards, and then they drop it over him and they never see it. And it's not that they're covering his shame. They're honoring their father. They're not mocking him. They're honoring him. Ham is not doing that. I just find it very interesting, though, that Noah curses Ham's son, Canaan. And he says, "Cursed be Canaan, the lowest of slaves will he be to his brothers." Now, Ham and Canaan, those are going to be the Canaanites later on in the future. And I just say that because I want you to see who the player is. So the Canaanites come from Ham, and Ham shames them. And then Noah speaks that they are cursed and they will be beneath all of the brothers. Okay. He also said, "Praise be to the Lord, the God of Shem. May Canaan be the slave of Shem. May God extend Japheth's territory. May Japheth live in the tents of Shem, and may Canaan be the slave to Japheth." So now he's saying that we have Noah's like, praise Shem. Shem is wonderful. He gets the praise. The God of Shem. Okay, praise be to the Lord, the God of Shem. So he's saying that God, this is so important, you guys. He's saying the one true God, that's Shem's God. That will be Shem's God. And he will praise them. And then Canaan's going to be a slave to Shem. Canaan is also going to be a slave to Japheth. Japheth is going to have his territory is going to expand. So whoever comes from Japheth's line, it's going to expand. Anyone who comes from Ham or Canaan is going to be slaves to them. And Shem is going to be the one who honors the Lord, the one and true God. So if you pay attention to what's being said, it's hard if you don't know anything about what's going on, but right now, he is telling everybody that the seed that is going to crush the head of the serpent is going to come from Shem's line. So Shem is Jesus's genealogy. Isn't that amazing? All right, so moving on. After the flood, Noah lived 350 years. Noah lived a total of 950 years, and then he died. This is the account of Shem, Ham, and Japheth, Noah's sons, who themselves had sons after the flood. After the flood. No one had babies on the boat. Descendants of Japheth, Genesis chapter 10, verses 2 through 5. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, Magog, Madlon, Jevon, Tubal, Meshach, and Teras. The sons of Gomer, Ashkan, Razon, and Teramogo. The sons of Javon, Elish, Teresh, the Kitites, and the Rodanites. From these, the maritime peoples spread out into their territories by their clans within their nations, each with its own language. 1 Chronicles chapter 1, verses 5 through 7. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, Magdad, Maddi, Java, Tubla, Meshkat, and Teras. The sons of Gomer, Ajakan, Redron, and Tograma. The sons of Javon, Elesh, Terkas, the Kitites, and the Rodanites. I know I said the names differently. They're the same exact names. It's just one is written in Genesis chapter 10, verses 2 through 5, and then it's rewritten again in 1 Chronicles chapter 1, verses 5 through 7. So we see who Japheth's ancestry is, and it does say that from these people, they spread out into their territories by their clans within their nations, each with its own language. Because Babel's going to come in to all of this. So they're not spread out yet. So now we look at the descendants of Ham, Genesis chapter 10, verses 6 through 20. The sons of Ham, Cush, Egypt, Put, and Canaan. The sons of Cush, Sheba, Helva, Sabata, Ruma, and Shepha. The sons of Ramaha, Sheba, and Dedan. Cush was the father of Nimrod, who became a mighty warrior of the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. That is why it is said, like Nimrod, a mighty warrior, a mighty hunter before the Lord. The first centers of his kingdom were Babylon, Uruk, Elkanah, and Canaan in Sharna. From that land he went to Assyria, where he built Nivea, Rabakon, and Rezin, which is between Nivea and Kala, which is a great city. Egypt was the father of the Ludites, Ammonites, Anamites, Lahabites, Nahatites, Perizzites, Chaldeans, who were from the Philistines came, and Capernaums. Canaan was the father of Sidon, his firstborn, and of the Hittites, Jebusites, Amorites, Garish, Havites, Archamites, Sinanites, Argovites, Zemrasons, and Hemazons. So later, the Canaanite clans scattered, and the borders of Canaan reached from Sidon toward Gerar as far as Gaza, and then toward Sodom, Gomorrah, Adon, and Zebulun as far as Lesh. These were the sons of Ham by their clan and languages in their territories and nations. Now, they have not separated. They're all still together at this point in the reading. When they say that they scattered and they separated, it's kind of like that foreshadowing. The author knows, Moses knows what's going to happen, and he's just putting a point in so that way we know, oh, remember Canaan, and remember Ham, he was bad. He had his son Canaan, and look at all the people that are going to come from him and all that's going to be separated. And all those people that Shem and Japheth's family are going to fight against come from Ham. 1 Chronicles chapter 1, verses 8 through 16, and this is going to be a quick recap of what I just read. The sons of Ham, Cush, Egypt, Put, and Canaan. The sons of Cush, Sheba, Hevon, Sabbaton, Rama, and Shebazon. The sons of Rama, Sheba, and Dedan. Cush was the father or the son of Nimrod, who became a mighty warrior on earth. Egypt was the father of the Ludites, Ammonites, Helidons, Nebaton, Patharites, Castanites, from whom the Philistines came, and Capanites. Canaan was the father of Sidon, his firstborn, and of the Hittites, Jebites, Amorites, Gershites, Havites, Archites, Sinites, Arvadites, Zemrites, and the Hamathites. So Genesis chapter 10, verses 21 through 30. We are almost done for today. I know it's a long one. Sons were born to Shem. Sons were also born to Shem, whose older brother was Japheth. Shem was the ancestor of all the sons of Eber. The sons of Shem: Elam, Asher, Arapax, Lud, and Aram. The sons of Aram: Uz, Hul, Gethel, and Meshech. And my little thing says, where is it? Mash. All right. Arabux was the father of Shalom, and Shalom the father of Eber. 2 sons were born to Eber. One was named Peleg, because of his time the earth was divided. His brother was named Joktan. Joktan was the father of Elamon, Shazon, Hezron, Jerah, Hedons, Uzzah, Delaka, Obla, Abmal, Sheba, Ophir, Hazel, and Jobab. All these were the sons of Jocham. The regions where they lived stretched from Misha toward Sophar in the eastern hill country. I'm sorry I butcher names. I apologize. Doesn't get better. 1 Chronicles chapter 1, verses 17 through 23 is a repeat. The sons of Shem: Elam, Asher, Araphax, Lud, and Aram. The sons of Aram: Hol, Guther, and Meshach. Araphones was the father of Shedon, and Shelah was the father of Eber. The 2 sons born to Eber, one was named Peleg, because in this time the earth was divided. His brother was named Joktan. And now when they say that the earth was divided, I believe that that's when the further on, we're going to see a split between the nations. So between Israel. And that, I believe, is what they're talking about. So Joktan was the father of Alamon, Sheladon, Hezron, Jero, Hadarom, Uzal, Delkal, Oblam, Eblam, Sheba, Ophir, Hezon, and Joab. All these were the sons of Jocham. Now, to finish today, we are going to finish with Genesis chapter 10, verses 31 and 32. So we're finishing the entire chapter of Genesis chapter 10 right now. These were the sons of Shem by their clans and languages in their territories and nations. These are the clans of Noah's sons according to their lines of descent within their nations. From these, the nations spread out over the earth after the flood. So that was a little bit of history about where Jesus' bloodline goes, how the Canaanites come around, and all those people that are they're gonna turn as we read on against the Israelites. But it's important to remember, right now, there is no such thing as Israelites or Jews. They're all just people. And God is picking the line. But we won't see the Israelites until we get to see Jacob. But we do see the very significant people in that line who keep it going. You guys go out and be the salt and the light.